How's it going, guys? Pascal here. It is 3:30 in the morning, but I wanted to give you guys my raw thoughts, raw reaction to Star Wars Rogue One. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed this movie. It stars Felicity Jones as a girl named Jyn. Basically, this movie revolves around the plan to steal the blueprints for the Death Star, which we all know how that turns out in later films, but it's a prequel, so you gotta give it its liberties. And yeah, I really like this movie. First of all, I really love how this movie is, at first, I'll admit, when I first heard about this movie, first saw a couple trailers, I was like, look at Disney, they know what they're doing. They're just giving in a cash grab Star Wars movie to make up for the gap we have in between episode 8, the year gap we have. And I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm gonna, be rushing to the theater. I'll probably watch it, but then more trailers started coming in, and I started hearing more about it, and I was like, okay, and of course I saw that Darth Vader was in it. I'll touch on that. So I was like, yeah, well, I'll give it a try, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. First of all, this movie has very good action. The visuals and the action are very well put together. A lot of hand-to-hand combat that I wasn't expecting as much of, but yeah, this movie definitely, it did a very good job of course, Star Wars blending the music and the action that we all love. Just like Force Awakens last year, it was all there. Another thing I really enjoyed about this movie was its cast. It's very well cast, very strong cast. Felicity Jones is the main character. She's a phenomenal lead. She does a very good job of showing a lot of raw emotion, which I feel this movie does a better job of last year's Force Awakens. It was really hard for a lot of the audience, myself included, to connect with Rey as a character because we didn't get her parents, we didn't know who she was because they were saving that for later films. But with this movie, we get the relationship that Rey had with her Jyn. We get the relationship that we had with her parents, and it was really easy to connect with her as a character. So in that regard, I definitely think this movie has a great deal of action and emotions blended. Also, another thing this movie does is it has very good humor. So yeah, although Force Awakens is probably my favorite among the 7, just because it felt so familiar with blending what made the prequels great in the originals, compared to, BB-8, charming presence, stole the show a lot of the times in The Force Awakens. But in this movie, there's a new droid called K2, and every time he's on screen, it's just shenanigans occur. It's just amazing. He's just such a welcome presence, brings so much needed comic relief, so I was really glad they really upped the ante as far as humor in this time around. Also, as far as the side characters and the side cast, we have Donnie Yen, we have Mads Mikkelsen, if you remember him very recently from last month's Doctor Strange. He does a really good job as Jin's father, and I really bought the emotional connection between them. As far as other side characters, we have Donnie Yen. That's right, IP Man. IP Man is in this movie, and every action sequence, it's just phenomenal. He did his own stunts. Very glad to have him in this movie. Also, yes, you all know from the trailers, Darth Vader is in this movie, but he's not in it much. Don't go to this movie alone to see Darth Vader, because you're probably going to be disappointed. Earlier this year, if you saw Suicide Squad, it's kind of like the Joker, the Jared Leto Joker relationship. We advertise him a lot in the trailers, but he's hardly in the movie. Yeah, but was I disappointed in that? Not really, because I didn't expect him to be in the movie much. He's only in 2 scenes, but those 2 scenes were pretty amazing. What did I not like about this movie? The cons, the pacing could have been much better. The pacing could have been improved a good amount. So I was in the theater with my friend, and we were enjoying it, and we were yeah, this is pretty good so far. But I looked at him, I'm like, pacing? And he's like, dude, give it a chance. It's getting off the ground. It's just the first act. The story's progressing. I was like, okay, I'll give it a chance. After the second act, it was still better, but pacing. So he was like, okay, well, we still got the third act, the final action sequences all coming together, and he was like, yeah, okay, we'll give it a chance. But it could have, sometimes the movie feels too slow in the first 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes, especially after the second scene when there's this one inciting incident that I might touch on later, but sometimes it feels too slow, sometimes it feels too fast. The main problem with it was that every scene felt about a minute or two too short. Whenever you felt invested in one of the characters or the action, the conflict that's going on, it just cut to another scene, and you're like, wait, well, hold on, let's focus for a second, let's get this drama in. But yeah, the pacing could have been much improved. Also, the editing for the third act. So you already know the giant battle scene. We're going to take the Death Star, we're going to transmit these plans, send them back to the Rebel Alliance. And when it all comes together, yeah, you got the blaster, you got the dogfights, you got the blaster battles, you got the on the ground combat, which is great. It looks great, but it's just edited so choppily. It just really took me in the action. They tried to make it very dramatic by killing off this character here and there, but every time there was like a slow, dramatic moment so we can take in this one character's death that we spent the whole movie trying to get to know and connect with. They were like, okay, here's his death. Let's take a moment aside. Never mind, no moment aside. Let's shoot that window. Next scene. And it was just like, whoa, this really took me out of the action. It really took me out of the drama. So yeah, the editing in the third act of this movie was I really didn't appreciate how they went about that. But besides that, those are just two minor complaints about this movie, and everything else I really enjoyed. Star Wars, I'll give Rogue One, a Star Wars story, 4 stars out of 5. Really enjoyed it. Definitely go check it out as soon as you can. But who am I kidding? You were going to see this movie no matter what I said about it. Alright guys, this is it for now. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.